The flight took 9 hours. Most of that time, the traveler stared out the window instead of sleeping. A small envelope remained tucked inside a carry-on bag the entire trip. 2 tickets. A luxury vacation package booked months earlier. 5-star resort. Ocean views. Everything paid for. The gift had taken nearly a year to arrange. Not because it was expensive, because choosing it required something more difficult than money. Hope. That maybe this visit would feel different from the previous ones. Hope that years of distance could still be repaired. Hope that family relationships were simply waiting for the right moment. The traveler landed carrying all of that hope. By sunset, most of it was gone. The house looked exactly the same. The front porch, the flower pots, the faded welcome mat. Nothing had changed. The father opened the door for a brief second. The traveler thought he might smile. Instead, he laughed. "Look who's here." Several relatives sitting inside turned toward the entrance. Then the father added, "This loser wants to be a family again." The room reacted with uncomfortable amusement, not genuine laughter, the kind people use when they don't know how else to respond. The traveler remained standing, still holding the suitcase, still processing the greeting. Then the mother appeared beside the father. She glanced toward the backyard. "You can sleep out there if you need somewhere to stay." More awkward laughter. No one challenged either comment. No one said it was inappropriate. The moment simply existed. The traveler felt something unexpected. Not anger, not even embarrassment. Exhaustion. The kind that arrives when a person finally stops arguing with reality. For years, every visit had followed the same pattern. Dismissive jokes. Small insults disguised as humor. Affection offered inconsistently. Approval always conditional. Yet somehow there had always remained a belief that things would eventually improve. Standing at the doorway, that belief began disappearing. Not dramatically, quietly, like a light finally switched off. The traveler reached into the carry-on bag. Moved the envelope. The father's expression changed first, then the mother's. Curiosity became excitement almost instantly. The ticket slid partially from the envelope. Resort branding was visible. Travel dates. Luxury accommodations. The mother's face brightened. The father's posture shifted. The atmosphere transformed so quickly that several relatives noticed. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then questions started. "A vacation? For us? When? Where?" The traveler listened. What stood out wasn't the excitement. It was how different everyone's voices sounded now. Warmer, friendlier, interested, as if the previous 5 minutes had never happened. The traveler looked at both parents, then at the tickets. Months earlier, this moment had been imagined differently. There had been plans for surprise, celebration, gratitude. Instead, there was only clarity. The traveler smiled politely, then spoke. "These aren't for you." The room became silent, not shocked. Confused, the father frowned. The mother blinked repeatedly. "What do you mean?" she asked. The traveler took a breath. "This trip is for a real family." Nobody yelled, nobody cried. The sentence didn't arrive as revenge. It arrived as a conclusion, a quiet one. The father immediately assumed it was a bluff. The mother assumed it was anger. Both were wrong. The traveler placed the envelope back into the bag, picked up the suitcase, and left. No speech, no argument, just departure. That evening a hotel room was booked. The next morning, several phone calls arrived. None were answered. Moss followed. At first they focused on the vacation. Questions, demons, works for explanation. Only later did the messages begin mentioning the visit itself. The jokes, the comments, the years beneath them. 3 days later, a travel coordinator called regarding modifications to the reservation. The traveler met with the coordinator at a local office. Coincidentally, the parents arrived as well after learning where the meeting was taking place. They still believed everything could be reversed. The coordinator was professional, neutral, uninterested in family conflict. Exactly the kind of authority figure difficult situations sometimes require. In front of everyone, she reviewed the booking, traveler names, identification requirements, updated passenger information. New guests had already been confirmed. The changes were complete, final. No argument could alter that reality. The coordinator wasn't delivering punishment. She was simply explaining procedure, yet somehow that made the moment more powerful. Facts often do. For the first time, the parents understood that the vacation had never been imaginary. Neither had the decision. The father became unusually quiet. The mother asked who was going instead. The traveler answered honestly. 2 older family friends. People who had offered support during difficult years without conditions attached. People who never treated kindness as a transaction. The coordinator finished her paperwork. The meeting ended, everyone left. Nothing dramatic happened afterward. No public humiliation, no cinematic confrontation, only consequences. The vacation took place several months later. It was peaceful, not because of luxury, because nobody there was trying to earn their place. Back home, communication with the parents continued in limited ways. Occasional messages, careful conversations, attempts at reconciliation, some sincere, some the relationship survived. But it changed shape, perhaps permanently. Years later, the traveler would remember the doorway more clearly than the vacation itself. Not because of the insults, because that was the moment something important finally became visible. The problem had never been a lack of generosity, or effort, or patience. The problem was believing acceptance could be earned through gifts. Sometimes people appreciate what you give. Sometimes they appreciate who you are. Learning the difference can take years, and occasionally, it takes a 9-hour flight to finally understand it.